What's good, everyone? Welcome back to FaShaun. Today we're going to be doing episode 24, and my focus on this episode will be on a pair of glasses that everybody really wants, everybody really likes. They've been reiterated a couple of times in the past couple decades now. They're fairly old. But anyways, today we're going to be focused on the Oakley first gen, technically second gen, but they're called the Oakley Minute 1.0s. Anyways, we'll get into it later. In black with black iridium lenses. Let's get into it. Okay, going into it, I got the actual, when I bought them vintage, obviously. I got them with the soft case, but no hard case. So you can find that the vintage one's a little bit later. But here, let me, boom, toss this aside. Here they are. Hello. So these are awesome because they spawned a generation of Oakley design that has kind of proliferated into the models that they have today. I think they're made in China. I don't know if they're made in the U. Actually, no, this one is made in the US. This one is, focus. This one is made in the US. You can see black here. We have some grips here. The grips are kind of annoying because they kind of like slide a little bit, but they are the authentic grips. I don't know if there was any grips. Oh my God, this will not focus. I don't know if there's any grips on the nose pads here, but they fit on my head fairly well. If I can zoom in, maybe it says minute there. Hopefully that's picking up on the camera. It's a dim day today. I paid around $200 for these Canadian vintage, which is perfect because new Oakley models are nowhere near as characterful or as high quality, and they're like $400. The second generation, or the Oakley Minute 1.0, was kind of the more wearable one than the first gen, because this one has a more solid material called Plutonite. Anyways, so it's pretty much just plastic, proprietary plastic composition that, you know, I've used these on runs, on hikes, and they're perfect. I've worn them to the rave, and they're amazing. But incredible shape, right to the head. It doesn't like alter your face shape too much. They're just perfect. Little Oakley sign there. Look at that. What are these? Pretty much the Oakley Minute. This is the second generation, or 1.0. There's three different generations. So there's the Oakley first generation Minute, the Oakley Minute 1.0, which is technically the second generation. A little bit of confusion there. And then the second generation Oakley Minute, or the Oakley, or the third generation, I should say, but the Oakley 2.0s. Those ones I don't really like as much. They have a bit of a thicker frame on the sides, or a thicker leg. I like this more sleek appearance. I found that those are a bit too chunky because they had to also, to proportion it out properly, get the front part of the glasses to be thicker as well. Pretty cool maybe if you want to go for a bulkier appearance, but I wanted something more sleeker. As I said, this is Plutonite, so they're new at the time, proprietary plastic framework for durability, which is amazing. What else do I have here? Yeah, and then lastly, they just have the black prism polarized lenses, which is fantastic. They're really, really good in super bright sunny days, or on that hike you can see quite far, and just something where the character of decades past with a little bit of the technology that you find even today. The purchase rationale, simply I wanted a pair of all black glasses that were super durable, that were sporty, athletic, that had that character, that I didn't have to pay a whole lot of money for. As I said, I paid 200 Canadian for these. I think you look at Oakley now, any of like the black eye jacket is one that's a modern interpretation. You can get them on sale for around 200 Canadian. And I'd much rather have these. These have more history, more provenance. A lot of the Oakleys in modern generation actually harken back to this, so you might as well just spend the same amount of money and get the OGs, you know? and they're gonna last you forever, and they'll probably appreciate in value. As you know, like these new eye jackets, in my opinion, they're lacking. I think people, I don't know if I can call them basic. Sure, they're commonplace, I'll say. I'd rather you spend your money on, and just be patient. They do come out on eBay. I got these, where did I get these? I think I got these on Grailed, and all in, including like taxes, shipping, and everything like that, it was $200. So if you're going to be spending around $200 for glasses that you know will be durable and will last you a lifetime, get vintage Oakleys. For the market analysis, as you know, we go cheap, mid-level, and expensive. Starting off with cheap, I have this because I wanted to go sub $100 and I couldn't really find glasses that had this type of character and vibe and design or around that. With modern day interpretations for sub $100. I would say go vintage, obviously go vintage always, but sometimes you can find gems and get vintage Oakleys for sub 100. What I have here though is to get them fake. I'm strongly, even though usually all of these are recos, they're more so information pieces. I strongly recommend against that because that's what I've just seen in the wild in terms of the market. Don't go fake, just wait it out, be patient, you'll find those gems. Make sure you do authenticity checks with anything if you find it at a really good price on the Oakley forums on Reddit or on the actual proprietary forum. And people will respond to you and give you, and you know, there's some Oakley nerds out there with crazy collections, they will give you the right answer. Then we go over to the mid-level. The mid-level I'm gonna say is around $200 to $300, so what I pretty much paid for these. I will say that I still recommend these at that price point, of course, but I have the Oakley Minute 3rd generation, or the 2.0s, which I'll flash up right here. Again, chunkier. They just don't have that same sleekness that I really like with vintage Oakleys that you can find. I think they're a bit too bulky on the face. They take over the face a little bit too much. Kind of like an eye jacket that I had done a previous video on, but I think a Minute should be complementing the face, not taking over, versus an eye jacket. So maybe you can go into that if that's what you're looking for, but again, for mid-level, just get a vintage pair of these. Lastly, we have expensive. Now this is going to be a different brand. I'm going to go with the District Vision, I think just any District Vision sunglass. Super high quality, made in Japan. However, I think they're a bit too over-designed. I think they're trying to be a little bit different. They're trying to be a bit more sporty, and I think it's going against them, in my opinion, with their design language. I feel that, and they're like $600. They're expensive. So for half the price, you get something with more character, in my opinion, better design. Frankly, the District Visions were probably inspired by vintage Oakleys, right? So again, just buy these. Just buy these. Wait. Get a good price, around $150 to $200, snag them up. Snag them up. It doesn't have a case, it doesn't have the soft case, who cares? You know, you can get those down the line later for $20 to $30 or even less, depending. But I would warn away from District Vision a little bit. I don't think they're really worth the price point. And I think that the design, again, is inspired by these, so you might as well just get these. Okay, we've talked about everything: description, purchase rationale, market analysis. Now we get to do my favorite part of the video, as always, styling them. Okay, we have a vintage mil-spec hat on top, the Oakley Minutes, of course, a Easy Gap zip unreleased hoodie, I think, a CDG tri-cot mock neck, a MMW cropped rain jacket, which I love, ready-made, my favorite pants, the ready-made cargos that I have, as well as some and Mühlmeister combat boots. Okay, so here's the fit. I have the glasses kind of covered up here with this hat, but I like the way the kind of like that mil-spec kind of look, and you know, I'll be going out soon and it's really raining super hard right now, so don't want to get too wet. In the summer, maybe I'll do like a hiking outfit on this channel, or a running outfit. For this, as you know, for styling we will go FCP, my proprietary framework to style anything and everything. So it's fit, contrast, and proportion. Let's get into it. Fit. The first, as you know, is always going to be fit. Fit is just how things fit on you. You know if something's going to fit on you versus what isn't. Sometimes even if you look at it on the rack, you're going to tell. And in this, everything here fits me fairly loosely except for the pants, which are a bit more slim, at least the way that I have them tied up here. But you know, you're looking for anything that's loose where it loses too much structure, then it's a bit too big for you, or it's too tight where you can kind of see your body pushing out against the structure again of the garment. So anything that moves away from the structure of the garment, either loose or tight, it's something that you should probably wean away from or wean away from. It just wasn't what meant for you maybe at this moment. But again, that's easy. Everybody kind of already understands that. Now let's get into contrast. Okay, so for contrast, there's two different versions. One is contrast in colors, contrast in textures. The golden rule, as I always say, is to complete the circle, meaning if you have a color on one part of your body, you're gonna have to find a color on another part of your body as well, so that you have harmony flow throughout the entirety of the outfit. Now let's get into it. So we have beige here on the jacket, there's beige on the hat. I've kind of like matched everything to the hat. Beige on here, beige on the hat, you've completed the circle on beige. You have gray over here, gray on the hat, you've completed the circle on gray. You have olive on the hat, this is a military hat, olive on the pants, you've completed the circle on olive, and then lastly black. Black on the boots, black on my little like sort of short sleeve turtleneck here, mock neck here, and then black on the hat, obviously black on the glasses too. So you completed the circle on the entirety of the outfit for all of these colors, and it's really what you want to do in order to showcase that you don't want to pull attention, I should say, to any one part of your outfit. You want the entire outfit to be greater than the sum of its parts, which is why I always say to wean away from like orange highlighter colors unless you're balancing another highlighter color on your body. Next we have contrast and textures. Pretty much everything is good here. You got to complete the circle again. So nylon, nylon, cotton, cotton, cotton on the gray. All low pile fabrics. We have leather on the boots. I think what would be perfect here is maybe a leather crossbody bag that's a bit more mil spec. I think I have one that I might rock, I think, when I go outside, but this one is a bit nitpicky. If you want to take your outfit from a 9 or 8 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10, then you should probably start balancing out the textures on your outfits. Again, completing the circle in that instance. I think you should probably do it low pile, medium pile, high pile. So of course leather is a low pile fabric versus something mohair, which would be like high pile, right? Because there's a lot of surface area there. So that'd be the case here, but in this instance, I think we're still okay. Lastly, we have the proportion element, and this is the hardest to get right. You have to really know your body's proportions in order to add silhouettes, pieces on your body that complement those proportions. I'm short and stocky, so I can pretty much rock any silhouette because of that. In this instance, for this outfit, what I've done is the inverse triangle or the inverted triangle. I think maybe the first time I've done this on this channel, where you have a more wider base, a solider base for the triangle up here, and then the point comes down. As you can see, the point comes down to the point of the boots here. I can probably show it a little bit more if I go and stand like this, and you can see how it goes like this, and then it goes down like this. And so you really want to leverage proportions that you see naturally in the wild, in geometry class, really. Inverted triangles like this, regular triangles so wider at the base, which is a bit more common nowadays, especially in the summer, and then thinner at the top as it goes up the top. Rectangles, squares, depending on the garments that you have, you could do ovals and circles. This is the first time I'm going to mention this on the channel, but I had an epiphany kind of a couple of days ago where there's 3D proportions, and I'm sort of trying to explore that as well. And so what you can do from a 3D perspective when you look at proportions, and how can you mold proportions away from those kind of set triangles and squares and rectangles and things like that, or hourglasses. But that's something for another video. So in this case, yeah, we've leveraged the inverted and looks good. Just the glasses, of course, look fantastic right now in this type of outfit, and I'm definitely going to be pretty much rocking this when I walk outside later today. But yeah, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate all of you. I hope you've learned something today, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.